Alright, this video is going to be about fixing a hinge problem on the Lenovo Thinkpads. If you're really rough on your ThinkPad, you might experience this. What happens is there is a magnesium frame behind the LCD, and if you kind of yank on the LCD, you can break these little tabs. So you'll have to replace this back piece. So what we're going to need to do is we are going to need to remove the LCD and remove this back piece and then replace it and put it all back together. So the first thing you're going to want to do is get your tools ready. I just have two different sizes of screwdrivers and a pick for removing little tabs and things. You're going to go ahead and remove the screw covers. There's going to be 1, 2, 3 on the bottom and then 2 on the top. This laptop is actually missing them, so there's only one that I need to remove. But go ahead and remove it, and then you can go ahead and remove the bezel. One thing to note is that my replacement has come with the wires for the wireless antenna. So if yours does as well, you're going to need to remove this the keyboard and this plate up here so that we can unhook these wires and remove everything. If it does not come with them, you're going to have to reroute them in the back. Here's a view of it in case you have to do that. Okay. So go ahead and pop this bezel off. That's what we'll do first. By removing all the screws. Pretty simple procedure. If you're careful, you can kind of hook your fingers on the inside here, but just be very careful when you're doing that, because you can force some pressure marks into the LCD if you're not careful. Just like that. Set this somewhere safe. Okay, now as I mentioned, and you can see it here, right in here, this is where these wires come down and enter into here. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to remove these pieces. If you don't need to do these wires, you can go ahead and skip this part, but we'll be doing this on this video. Okay, so to remove these pieces, you're going to need to do it in this order. This palm rest will have to come off, and then the keyboard can come out, and then you can remove this. Now obviously with the broken hinge, we don't want to keep opening and closing it, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tilt it on its side like this, and just remove the screws like this. You'll notice that there are some little keyboard icons next to the ones that you need to go ahead and remove. So now once you remove those 5 screws, go ahead and put it back down. And just put your fingers inside. Okay, now to get this cable, what you're going to want to do is put your thumb underneath the ribbon cable and just pull up, okay? Don't kind of pry it from one side or else it'll rip. Okay, so once we are here, just get this back a little bit. Once we are here, we can remove these two screws, and then there are a couple more screws on the bottom that we're going to need to remove. Okay, so flip it over. Get these ones. Let's see if I can zoom in. Alright. So once you've removed those screws, flip it back over. Just gently get the edges here. Now there are some more screws on the inside here, but you can kind of feel that we're free here. We just have to get these two screws in here. I believe there's actually also supposed to be a screw right here. So there's supposed to be a screw right here, but this one is missing it. So just keep that in mind. Don't rip this metal piece off. Two screws right here. Okay. Alright, you've got one more screw right here. Alright, so once you remove the 4 screws on the bottom, 3 on this side and 1 on this side, you can go ahead and remove these 2, and then this one's missing them, but there are 2 right here, and just pull back on it. Okay, and now we have full access to all of the cables that we're going to need to unroute. Alright, so once you've got access to the cables, you can go ahead and unroute them. There are actually 5 in this model. So go ahead and okay, get those 2, and then just unplug these ones. Okay, so there we go. We've got all of the cables ready to be removed. And I think this will actually come loose once we pull that out. Now what you're going to want to do is go ahead and remove the screws holding this piece in here. Now what I would recommend is bending it. I have to put some pressure on this hinge to get it to bend down, but bend it down so that it rests on something, so that when you take everything apart it doesn't just fall all over the place. So go ahead and remove the screws holding the mechanism to the back cover. And you'll feel that it is now loose. You can kind of feel that. Okay, you can go ahead and unscrew these. These will all need to come out as well. So just get everything kind of loose. And for this, if you want, you can go ahead and unplug it. But just be very careful because this piece is very delicate. Okay, so once you've got everything disconnected, go ahead and prop it up just a little bit, and then pull back on it, just like this, where you can free it. Okay, and then we'll have the LCD here. Go ahead and put the base somewhere safe. And now we can get to actually fixing the problem that we are having. Alright, so this piece is held in by some tabs on the side of the LCD. Let's see if I can show them to you. Maybe. I don't know if you can see them there. But there's some tabs on the side, and you'll be able to gently pry up the screen and move the tabs as you go. So just hold some constant pressure up on it while you go around the edge and pry the tabs. Okay, let's go to the other side. Be gentle with this because this plastic is not very forgiving and it will crack. Okay, so there we go. We have the lid and we're keeping the lid. Alright, and now we are just left with the magnesium base and the LCD. So now what we're going to do is you'll see here we need to take the LCD out of this and put it into here. So go ahead and start removing these screws connecting the LCD to the magnesium base. You can see we've got some on the sides, so go ahead and start doing that. Okay, so on the left side of the LCD, you'll notice that inside here the magnesium frame is screwed directly to the LCD. Go ahead and remove this plastic piece so that you can get access to it. There are just 3 screws on the end here. Okay. Now you'll have access to the screws holding it together. Flip it over and check the other side. Go. Got all of these out. Okay, and the last thing we're going to need to disconnect is the ribbon cable that is at the top of the LCD. The way I do this is just pull it out, but be careful because if you pull too hard, force it, there won't be enough slack and you'll crack it. Alright, so now we're going to start reassembling it. First thing you want to do is go ahead and lay the LCD back inside. Okay, so got everything. Make sure all the cables are flat like they're supposed to be. That'll make it easier to get everything back in there. Go ahead and replace this piece. Probably easiest if you do this first because you may need to lift the LCD a little bit. Okay, get that little piece in there. Then we can go ahead with putting the camera back in. Now these screws are a little bit tighter because they're going into the magnesium. You may want to use a screwdriver with a little bit larger handle so that you can fully get them in there. Just don't over tighten them because it will strip the threads. Okay, got that in there. Place these on. Okay, we can go ahead and get this side. Now for this side, what I'm going to do, prop this up a little bit. Okay, get some screws ready. Because you're going to have to make sure that the screw holes line up. It's going to be a little bit difficult to do at first until you get a couple of them in there. Once you start to get a couple of them in there, it'll get easier. Okay, move over to the other side. For this other side, remember that we need to get a screw from this magnesium base into the LCD. So to do that, we're going to need to remove this black piece again. And again, it's going to be a little bit hard to get it lined up. And then go ahead and replace your plastic piece here on the side. Alright, now we are back in the base. So from the last one, put those to the side. Okay, you can go ahead and replace this piece. Make sure it's lined up properly. Fully seated. Okay. Alright, so we've got that piece, and you've got this piece lined up. Okay. Now we're going to get the lid backing. So, just gently seat it in here. You can use a pick to just find the sticking points where it's giving you some trouble sitting in. Okay. Make sure it's fully seated all around the outsides. Okay. Now we have the lid back together now. Now you can go get your base. Okay, and again, I recommend finding something that you can kind of prop it up on so that we can properly align this. There's not really an easiest way to do this. It's kind of all a pain, but try and get your cables go through here. Okay, just like that. Now, one thing to notice, you may not have been able to see it in the videos, because I kind of did it quickly. Okay, so this hinge over here, there is a little brace that connects to the LCD. That piece has to go on top of the hinge, while the magnesium base goes underneath the hinge. This side over here does not have anything like that. So just make sure that you've done it correctly when you put it back together. Alright, I went ahead and did a couple easy things. Once you've got the screen, the back on where you'd like it, go ahead and replace these three screws. There's one over here and two over here. They are the larger thread ones, if you can see that. Okay, and route your wires like this, red and blue on this side, and gray, black, and white onto this side, and replace the screw for the speaker. So you've got that there. This piece needs to pop up into here. Okay, just like that. Okay, and then you can get your base piece here, and these wires go on this side of it. Now there are some little like ledges here that you need to make sure get underneath the clips. Just make sure that they're in there. This. Get this in there. Okay, just like that. And then you can loop these like this. You'll have two. Okay, once you get this wireless cable set back in there correctly, put the white one underneath it just so that it doesn't make any protrusions when you put the keyboard back on. Okay. Then replace these screws right here. Slide like that. Go. I'm going to wait and put these back bottom screws in when I can close the lid. Okay, on this side you should have one long screw, one short fat screw, one long screw, and one short skinny screw. Alright, and once you've got everything back together, you should have a working LCD lid. Alright, thanks for watching.